The smell coming from his room, you could smell it from walking up the stairs to the bedrooms.
What kind of smell?
He never took showers.
Okay.
Like a BO type of smell.
This is the plaintiff, Edward O'Dowd. He says he rented a room in the defendant's house, and after about a month, he started getting cold feelings from them, even though he did nothing wrong. Since he didn't feel comfortable in their home, he moved out. Now the louses won't return the $2,625 they owe him. That's why he's suing. These are the defendants, Robert and Ivana Malgieri. Robert says the plaintiff moved in and started giving them a hard time in their own home. He was a slob, an unsanitary man, because they have video of him blowing his nose in a paper towel and then using the same paper towel to clean the kitchen counters. Oh, him? No way. They're accused of kicking a guy to the curb.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right. Mr. O'Dowd, you are suing your former landlords, Mr. and Mrs. Malgieri, for the return of your security deposit doubled because, according to you, it's been wrongfully withheld. Tell me what happened.
Basically, I rented a room from the defendant.
When did you start?
October 1st.
October 1st. And how is it that you found this room?
Craigslist.
Okay. So you were renting a room and then what, sharing the common areas?
Yes, I had my own bathroom and I had my own room and I was allowed to use the kitchen, but mostly everything in the house I could use and just take care of it and everything.
Okay.
Like a normal person should.
So what happens?
On October 22nd, Mr. Malgieri and Ivana asked me to talk to me. They wanted me to leave. And I said, why? I was surprised, like anybody would be, just being there, couple of weeks. And he basically told me that I used a foul language towards his wife in my own room while talking to my friend.
Meaning you were talking about his wife and used foul language?
I don't know, to be honest with you, Judge, I don't even remember even doing it, but I was in my own private room. I mean, it's a privacy issue. He said his daughter heard me talking, and that's why he wanted me to leave.
How old is the daughter?
I don't know her name.
No, but is she an adult or a child?
She's an adult.
20 years old, Your Honor.
Okay. So what happens? They sit you down to talk to you, and what do they say?
That they want me to leave because of that. I couldn't believe that was a valid reason, but you know what? We had a lot of tension. And
what other tension was there and why?
To be honest with you, I really had no problem with Robert the first week or two. But Ivana kind of made me feel uncomfortable a lot. I don't know why.
How did she make you feel uncomfortable?
Okay, I'd walk downstairs and she'd say, "You scared me." Like I was like, I lived there. Trying to things like that. I really
what would she say to you that was? What would she say to you that was off-putting?
That I really can't remember. All I know is that I was uncomfortable.
Okay, so according to you, they sit you down and they tell you what? You've got to leave?
Yes.
All right, and why is it that you hustle and leave in 10 days? Because the law wouldn't force you to do that.
To be honest with you, I felt uncomfortable.
So you wanted to leave too?
They pressured me. They basically told me, you got to leave. He raised his voice to me and said to me, you got to leave. I go, you got to give me 10 days because Robert, the guy who helps me move, cannot help me till the weekend. So Mr. Malgieri agreed to that.
Okay.
I know I had more leeway, but I just thought it'd be best to get out of there.
All right. Okay, Mr. Malgieri, why won't you return his security deposit?
Your Honor, he's telling the story all wrong. He just told us he was going to leave. There were a lot of problems that we're having with Edward, swearing all over the house, dropping the F-bomb everywhere. We rented a room. We didn't rent him the house. It was a room And common areas were the kitchen, the laundry room, and the backyard. Those were the common areas. The smell coming from his room, you could smell it from walking up the stairs to the bedrooms.
What kind
he
of
never
smell?
took showers.
Okay.
Like a BO type of smell. In our agreement, he was to supply his own condiments. Use the kitchen. It's your food. You supply your own plates, your cups, your paper towels, your napkins. He was taking everything of ours. And we have a camera, okay, in the common area that goes from the kitchen.
Did he know that you had a camera?
It's in clear view.
How big is it?
He knew we had camera.
No, man, he did not tell me.
It's a Blink camera, and it's about this big.
He didn't tell me about the camera.
Did you know that he had a camera?
He didn't tell me anything about a camera. He's telling you he did. He just said it, but he never told me. I'm under oath. I guarantee you that.
Everybody's
People
under
know me as an
oath.
honest person.
Everybody's always under oath, and there's always two stories. So did you see the camera?
No, I didn't even know anything was there.
Is this the first time you ever rent a room to someone in that home?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you rented a room to anyone else after this?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Did you tell those people that there's a camera?
Yes, everybody knew that there was a camera.
Okay,
It was
let
in
me
clear-
suggest to you that you should do that in writing because, people could come. First of all, that is a common area and you're going to be filming him. And if you're going to be filming him, you really should have him in writing agreeing to it so that you don't have any issues with invasion of privacy or anything else. You happen to live in a one-party consent state, but it's still disturbing to me. Like, I would want to know, and I wouldn't assume that the camera works. I wouldn't assume that thing there's a camera. I would want to know if there's a camera filming me.
Your Honor, there's a blue light on the camera. And when it goes off, the blue light is on.
Yeah, so that we don't have this ridiculous discussion we're having, have somebody wave that they know that there's a camera. That's a better way to do it. But in any event, apparently you were taping him and there were several things that you saw that disturbed you. Can you tell me, Ms. Malgieri, why don't you tell me what it is that you saw that bothered you?
One of the things is he leaving the refrigerator open constantly and he walking around the kitchen constantly and is open the fridge. We content 25 times for nothing.
Like just opening the fridge and leaving it open, you mean?
And leave it open and walking around the kitchen and doing the walking that you can see in the videos, boom, 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 with shoes. I asked him to not use shoes because I clean the house, it's wood floors, and I'm trying to have the floors clean. And that's the first thing I asking him. He not respect that. The only one thing I asking him is, buy him stuff because it's cost me money. Go get my dishes up, all the things that we have in the kitchen. And he say, why this take off the paper towels today for here? Yes, because there are mine, and I don't want the he using anymore. It's in the camera. The camera is big. Any person, the more stupid person, I'm sorry for the words, he can see the camera in the front door. And I told him it's Alexa recording too. And he know that about Alexa.
Alexa's recording.
It's in the kitchen. Alexa's in the kitchen, and he know. And we talking. He said before that we told him it's Alexa there too.
Yeah, that stuff's listening to me all the time. Anytime I say anything about, I'd love to go to Tuscany, the next day there's 87 advertisements for Tuscany. Listen, let me ask you a question. You've submitted into evidence numerous videos. I'd like to see them because I'm trying to get to the bottom of who threw out who. You're keeping the security deposit because according to you, what? He didn't give you 30 days notice, Mr. Malgieri?
It was supposed to be 60 days notice. And
do you have a
he
written
didn't
lease
give us
with
notice.
him?
Yes, we do. I don't have a copy of it.
Does anyone have a copy of a written lease?
Yes, Judge Balian, I sent it to you.
Okay. And according to you, because he didn't give you notice, that's why you're keeping the money, correct?
Yes, Your Honor, because it took us time to get a new tenant in there, and we went without. So
you never agreed for him to leave. You're saying that was his idea, and you didn't want him to leave.
We want he correct the stuff that he's doing. We try and talk to him, and he start very mad and offending us, and say, you know what? I leave on Saturday at 12 o'clock. It's his decision, and he not give you all some notes. I want to see the note where he told us where he living. He told you he living. And he decides to leave.
So let's see some video. That's actually what I want to see now.
Running with shoes.
I was running with the cat at times because I enjoyed the cat.
It's feeling.
I didn't see.
Your Honor, th-
According to you, what did you see him do with the paper towels?
he was going around the kitchen with a paper towel. He was wiping things, and then he blew his nose in and then wiped the counter with it. Your Honor, you see a video of him spitting all over our kitchen. This is a time of a pandemic. We didn't ask him to wear a mask, but to spit all over our kitchen, that's just something's just not right with this person. And the videos clearly say that he's had enough. He wants to leave, and that's all he talked about is how he wanted to leave, and then he left.
It's running in the house.
My wife. The reason why he's so annoyed at my wife is because we just refinished our wood floors, and my wife keeps them immaculate. And we have a rule in our house for everybody, okay, relatives, whatever, no shoes in the house. He deliberately put his shoes on, jogging back and forth up our floors, and she got very upset.
All right, now this is a video of the actual discussion between you guys.
Do that since I've been here. You've taken our plates, you've taken our cups, you've taken our paper towels.
The hell out. Now, come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Really?
You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me.
So I'm not here saying when
So you gotta be kidding me. I bring my own food. You wanna know what? I'm gonna leave, but you wanna know what? You're right. It's your house, okay, Ivana? I don't want any more problems. Obviously, I made a mistake, and you guys made a mistake me coming here.
You say you have money in the bank, and I believe you. And maybe you should have your own apartment. Maybe this isn't the way,
Yeah, well, I've gone.
From the videos that I'm watching, though, Mr. Malgieri, it sounds very mutual. And Mrs. Malgieri, the minute he suggests, obviously I've got to go, the two of you are like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. That way you can have your own space. I believe you. You have money. Maybe that's best. How is that not mutual then, as opposed to he leaves you in a lurch? In other words, the words you guys say is, yeah, but you don't say, but you've got to give us 60 days notice so you can't leave right away. You're delighted that he's going to leave. So what would entitle you to keep the security deposit then?
I would have give him time to find an apartment.
He decides to go.
I'm ordering you to return the security deposit. I'm not going to order him to now stop. I'm not going to order it doubled because I reserve those under the laws of New Jersey in very, very specific circumstances, and where someone is clearly sneaky trying to keep your money as opposed to wrong and keeping your money. I find them to be wrong, not sneaky. So I'm ordering him to return
Your Honor,
to you.
we lost money during the time.
Turn the volume down before I find him to be sneaky. All right. Mr. O'Dowd, I'm going to order Mr. and Mrs. Malgieri to return to you your security deposit because I find that the departure was mutual. Even if you're the first one to bring it up, it was still mutual. Nobody said, okay, fine, we'll consider this your 30-day notice or your 60-day notice, so you'll be leaving in December, at the end of December. Nobody's saying that. They're like, yeah, that sounds best. So I believe that you have the authority to leave at that point because everything's hitting the fan and everybody's very upset. So in retrospect, the irony is that the tapes helped you. $1,312.50 verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, in what may seem a surprise to many, the plaintiff prevails. He's going to get his security back, $1,300 and some dollars. Mr. and Ms. Malgieri, what do you think about what the judge just decided? She thinks you were being a little sneaky with the video you showed, No,
in the state of New Jersey, you're allowed to have a video and a camera in a common area, and that's what we did. And we're glad that we did because you saw what was on that video. Be aware of who you invite into your home. We're happy he's long gone.
You got to give him his security back. Like it or not, you got to give it back to him. Mr. O'Dowd, let me ask you, number one, you're going to get the security back. You're okay with that? I'm sure you are.
Thank you.
Right?
From day one, this man's been just a liar, to be honest with you. Everything he said is totally false. I'm a very credible person. Anybody who knows me that will see me. And it's a shame that these people can lie like this. But you know what? It's over with. I'll never see these people again. Move on with my life. I'm a very credible person. And a lot of people know me as a very good guy.
All right. Well, you win. Good luck to you in the future, okay? And watch out for cameras wherever you live. All right. All right, that'll wrap it up for this case. Harvey, what do you think about this and the camera issue as well? How about that?
Doug, this is fascinating. And this is now the way of the world where people do install cameras in their home. You know, in some cases, just if you have a nanny and you have kids, you want to see what's going on. If you do something like this, where you do install cameras, it is dicey, especially for a landlord to do that with tenants. Tenants have a right to quiet enjoyment of a house, and that really involves the landlord not intruding. If a landlord is putting a camera in an apartment or in a house, I think that landlord better tell the tenant, because otherwise I think that's an invasion of privacy.
Can someone sue a judge for a wrongful judgment? I got evicted during COVID and I have a special needs child.
The answer to that is that judges, the short answer is no, you really can't. Right. I mean, because judges have immunity. Right. For their decisions on the bench, because can you imagine who would ever want to be a judge if you could be sued personally for
every time you make a decision, somebody's upset, somebody's mad.
Right. And there's one unhappy party. Right. And your remedy is to appeal. If the judge was wrong, then a higher court will reverse the judge.
Right. Judges do have immunity for the decisions they make and the rulings they make on the bench, and that really is almost unqualified. It doesn't matter how erroneous, how illegal, how awful
for their rulings, right?
Yes, right. As long as it's as long as it's not completely extra jurisdictional, where you're creating jurisdiction. You say, well, I'm going to send my bailiff out to beat up some people in the parking lot. You can't do that. But if it's within the jurisdiction of the court, your remedy is exactly as you said. You have the appellate remedy, and other than that, you just got to take your lumps. And if there's an election, you try to vote them the hell out of office if they're doing it wrong, or you go to if there's a judicial qualifications commission.
Every state has a commission that reviews the conduct of judges in case there was something unethical.
There's watchdogs.
Right. There are watchdog groups, and there's government groups that sanction judges. Right. There's usually one controlling governmental body whose job it is to make sure that judges act ethically. Right. But as far as suing them, that's not going to happen.
No. Even federal judges, and there's only 700 or 800 of these people on the planet, and they have tremendous power, but they can be impeached.
And a lifetime appointment.
Lifetime appointment.
But they can be impeached.
But yes, they can be impeached for misconduct or bad behavior in office, right? So there's always a way, but for the most part, just gotta roll with it and take your lumps.
This is the plaintiff, Fong Liam. He says the defendant is his neighbor, and he's been harassing him and his family mercilessly since he moved in 6 years ago. The guy smashed his security camera in a fit of rage. He damaged his stone wall, and he's here suing the troublemaker for the $2,400 he says he's owed. This is the defendant, John Brandstetter. He says he took the camera down and handed it back to the plaintiff when he refused to take it down and stop filming him. Now the guy is lying again because he didn't damage his stone wall, and the plaintiff should be the one who's ashamed of himself. He's accused of losing control.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Neum, you are suing Mr. Brandstetter, your neighbor, for $2,400 in damages to your property, as well as harassment that you say he is exhibiting towards you. Can you please tell me what is going on between you and your neighbor?
Yes, Your Honor. I live here since 2004. I own a property which is adjacent to the main street. On June 19th, 2020, there were over 30 FBI agents in technical gear raided the defendant's house. They rammed through the gate, smashed through his front door, and smoke bombed his house. After that, the defendant been asking me about the footage, scare footage of the raid. I did provide whatever I can, but I guess he was not satisfied. So on November 1st, 2020, the defendant texted me, if your car get hit, I'm not liable, and you have come across the line also, your parking on the road is a problem.
Okay, well, so when you said, hey, yes, John, I went up to show you my documents, but you're not home. What documents were you talking about?
John was asking about my contract, purchase contract, or whatever that I have bought the property for. So I guess he wanted to see my purchase.
Why
contract.
though? Give me. Tell me why he wants to see your purchase documents. It has to do with the easement, right? What is his beef with you? He feels like you built a gate on the easement. What exactly is his problem? You want me to just ask him, or you want to tell me? You don't know. Okay, Mr. Brandstetter, what is your problem with your neighbor?
My problem with my neighbor is we've owned this property. My parents have owned this property and the property behind here since the late 70s, early 80s. And he moved in. He built a house on a piece of property that was along the side of the easement. He claims he acquired the road that we have an easement, and he's destroyed all the things along the road. My father had problems with him previously, and he is actually the one that harasses everyone. I spend no time talking to this guy whatsoever.
What do you say he did to the easement? He built a house on it? He built a gate on it?
He removed a bunch of items that were along the easement.
What?
Which were a gas lamp that was at the entrance, gates and wagon wheels that were at the entrance, the gate opener to my electric gate that were at the entrance, and then recently he claimed to own my gas lamp, which the gas lamps and the lines run the length of the driveway. He also
okay, but hold on.
over.
You understand there's a difference between you owning property and you having an easement. An easement only allows you to come in and out. It doesn't allow you to plant stuff, wagon wheels, and other things.
This stuff was there before he purchased
I don't care if that stuff was there since Moses. It doesn't. You have only the rights you have. And you're, what your rights are if you have an easement. He's stuck with the easement. That means he has to keep it ingress and egress open for you and the other house to use it to come in and out. That's what an easement is. He knows that when he buys a property because it's subject to an easement. But that doesn't entitle you to plant flowers or put a wagon wheel or other stuff. I don't care if it's there since the 70s.
Although the stuff has been there and it was actually listed in the easement originally.
No, there's no. A wagon wheel is not something listed in an easement, okay? An easement is a legal right for ingress and egress on a piece of property. That's legally what an easement is.
Right, there's a question.
But I'd love to see the easement that says that the wagon wheel comes. Do you have that easement that says that?
I have a letter that was sent to him. I'd have to dig up, but it's from my father that was sent to.
Yeah, I don't care what your father says either, with all due respect. So what documents were you asking Mr. Neum for?
The documents I was asking Mr. Neum for was the road purchase that he claims he purchased that was part of the easement to this house that has been part of this property since this place existed. He claims he bought the road out of a thing which the
what is the road?
owner,
I'm sorry. What is the road? I don't know what that means.
Okay, there's a piece. This property has a road that went to this house. If you can see the photos, there's a road that you can see.
Yeah, I can see that road, but that usually is what the easement is. So what is it that he told you he bought?
He claims he bought that road recently, but he won't show me the sale paper for it.
Okay, Mr. Neum, tell me what he is referring to that you are saying that you bought. Because if you bought the house subject to an easement, the easement's still there. So what is he talking about that you were talking about?
Well, the easement is still there. I still let him go in and out. What I did was I went to the city and applied to build a house there. And the city approved everything.
Okay, so there was no house there at the time that you bought the property?
There was no house in the area that I built the house on.
Okay.
Okay, it was my backyard.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Here's my question. So when he says that you said you purchased something from the city, what is he talking about? You didn't purchase anything from the city. You permitted to be able to build another structure on your property?
Yes. Okay. So what happened is that in 2010, I bought the 25 by 175 piece of land that is next to my, original house.
Okay.
In 2014, I did a lot line adjustment to make it into a flag lot, combining that driveway and my property, to build a house using that driveway into my house.
Okay, but the driveway we're talking about, what does that have to do with the easement?
The driveway is to provide the easement to his house and to the property on the back of his house.
Did you build anything on the property that is the subject of the easement?
No, I did not.
All right,
No.
so what's his
No, I did
problem,
not.
do you think? What do you think is his problem?
Well, there's a number of things. One is, basically going back to the rate. He's been asking for the video. I guess I didn't provide sufficient video. all his threat, I put more security camera. And on the day that he took down my camera, there was a gas company blocking the driveway. And I guess he got upset and he went down and took my security camera and threw it away.
First of all, Mr. Brandsetter, can you tell me what the feds were at your house for?
Actually, it has something to do with him because he was actually some kind of a lookout for the drug dealers that rented the house that used to be my father's behind me. And what happened here at my house was that I had been out of the country and I actually had my sister's husband's brother watching my house, and then he was staying in my house and his wife swatted him, and I have an ongoing court case with that right now.
His wife what?
His wife, I guess, filed some frivolous stuff that I think is frivolous, and then he was staying at my house.
I'm looking at this video and I'm trying to get to the bottom of it, and it's not just, a domestic violence issue, because I've never seen this kind of response to a domestic violence issue. So let's see what we're looking at here. So who is that? What agency is that?
Okay, well, that's Riverside PD, and they are actually coming over here because my husband's brother-in-law was staying at my house, and he didn't, I guess, show up to some court thing for some divorce thing for her, and they claimed he was violent, and then they came from Riverside out here.
Okay, it sounds like what you're saying is that there's a warrant for his arrest, and so they were executing the warrant?
That's correct, but he wasn't. She claimed he was violent.
What were the drug dealers? What did the drug dealers have to do with anything?
The drug dealers on the house behind me, which Paul was, I guess, to look out because I have a video of them I didn't submit because I didn't know we were doing this, of him talking to the drug dealers that were doing pot in my father's old house.
Okay, but I thought you said he was a lookout for the cops.
He is, because he sits there and talks to him in my front yard. I have video of that. I haven't provided that.
Okay, well, I can't look at something you don't provide. Let's talk about this video.
I didn't know we were talking about
these
this.
photos, because I'm very interested in these photos. Part of what he's suing you for are these pictures he has of you literally walking up to his camera that is underneath this light.
That's my lamp. Yeah.
How is that your lamp?
That is my lamp. It's been my lamp. I have photos of it before the property was built.
Hold on. I'm very confused. Whose gate is that?
That is my gate, and that is my lamp, and that is my pole.
So your gate is built. I'm sorry, stop. So why is your lamp post outside of your gate?
That lamp has been there since the house was purchased, and that has gas lines that run up and down this road, which is the part that we don't know how he claims to own this road now.
Can I ask you a question? Have you filed a lawsuit?
We're in the midst of doing that.
What, in the midst of doing that, that's like being a little bit pregnant. Have you filed a lawsuit, yes or no? You either have or you haven't.
We haven't, but we have several other neighbors that are probably going to be doing something, because he's also trying to modify the backyards of several of the people.
Okay, well, here's what I've got. I've got you saying he's violating, and I've got him saying he's not. And you actually have an opinion from the county saying that you're not. So apparently they're just not enforcing the way you want them to. After consulting with several staff members from regional planning, after my inspection, there does not appear to be an issue with this parcel at this time. Mr. Neum, according to you, your lawsuit here today is because he has harassed you, $1,800 for harassment, and the rest of it for damage that you say he did. Tell me about the harassment.
I started the project 2018. Ever since then, he harassed me about the contractors, about the work, people blocking.
Well, if they're blocking, they're blocking. How is that harassment to tell you, hey, they're blocking?
Well, harassed my sister and my brother-in-law.
How did he harass your sister and your brother-in-law?
Asking questions when it's none of his privacy.
Like what kind of questions?
I think they were asking, like, do you live here? Do you rent here? Those sort of questions. But my brother-in-law didn't answer. He flying drones over my house.
Drones?
To look. Drones, yeah.
Someone flew a drone over my pool when my 3 daughters were in bikinis. And I've never wanted a BB gun. I wanted a BB gun so badly. I thought about it. Let me tell you, if I'd had one in my hands,
I guess I'm kind of glad you didn't.
Honestly, if I was a better aim, I would have just thrown stones. But all right, let's talk about your videos, because according to you, you have him on video damaging some stuff. Let's talk about that, and let's take a look at that.
Yes. So I installed additional camera after I received his text.
Is this his gas lamp or is this your gas lamp that's in this picture?
It's on my side of the property, and the county inspector say whatever
Is it
on
on
my
the
side of the
easement
property.
or is it not on the easement?
No, it's not on the easement.
It's not?
No, it's not on the easement.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
Easement
put
is-
that camera, which is that little black thing on the right side, and here's a picture of him grabbing the little black thing on the right side. Here's a picture of him with the little black thing missing, and it's probably in his hand. Here's a picture of him walking away with the little black thing in his hand. Where's the camera? What'd you do with the camera, Mr. Brandstetter?
I gave it back to him, and it's actually
Can
on
you
his
prove
wall.
that?
It's in the evidence.
Can you prove
Yes,
that?
I can. It's on his wall.
Okay, Mr. Neum,
No,
did he give you
he-
back your camera?
No, he did not give me back. What
Yes,
happened
I
is
did,
that
Paul.
Go ahead, Mr. Neum, and only Mr. Neum. Go ahead.
So after he took the camera, he threw it away on his side of the property. After an hour and a half later, he came back and started taking my personal stuff from my property. And then at that time, he went and picked up the camera from his side of the property and threw it onto my side of the property where he damaged all my wall cap.
Okay, you are suing for 5 wall caps. Let's look at the pictures of the wall caps. All right, now I see
So,
2
as you-
broken wall caps. Where are the other 3?
I don't have a picture with 5. I have a picture, an invoice for the
Yeah, I
contractor.
know you have an
to
invoice
repair
for
the
it.
wall-
I want to know if you
Yes,
have a picture of
right?
5 broken wall caps, yes or no?
I don't have 5.
I need proof of 5
Yes, I
damaged
understand.
ones. And according to you, do you have him on video damaging them, or you believe it's him who damaged them because he's the guy who has a problem with everything you do?
The videos that I didn't capture his action. I only captured when he started doing it because the video stopped, after 14 seconds.
Okay.
Or after.
So let's see
yeah.
that video. Is that him in the car?
Yes.
What are you doing? Mr. Brandstetter, what are you doing there?
That is the camera that's on my lamp.
Prove that
What-
lamp is on your property. I need you to prove that. And if you acknowledge that it's not on your property, then you don't have any business going to his property to move stuff, throw things around, or anything else. So now prove to me with a survey that where you are dismantling things is your property as opposed to that you're a criminal.
That lamp was just magnetically attached to that. I just took it off and handed it to him. I
Okay,
didn't
first
throw
of
it.
all, this is not a video of that. This is a video of something else, okay?
That is a video of only that.
No, it's not.
I'm not doing anything over there.
Let's see. There you are.
Right, and I'm
You are
looking at the
nowhere
lamp.
near the lamp. You're picking up stuff that's lying there and you're throwing it on the ground. Then you're
No,
yanking out the extension cord and throwing it on the ground.
Which is plugged.
And now
that
you're
is
picking up something else and throwing it on and taking it. What on earth?
Okay.
That is not the camera that was on the lamp that I have pictures of you removing. All right.
that is the camera that was on the lamp, and
it's
that there's
not.
stuff on the ground.
No, it's not.
Okay, there's stuff on the ground
So what else did he do
that's
besides
broken.
the security camera and the wall caps,
Didn't
Mr.
do
Neum? Is there
anything.
anything else that he destroyed?
No, nothing else destroyed. But, Your Honor, I hope my evidence shows my defendant's attitude toward me. I have no problem with any of the neighbors.
Why don't you show the police these videos and show that he is perpetually trespassing on your land?
I did.
Did they ever tell you, hey, we're not going to do anything? Or according to them, it's pending?
It's pending.
Have the police ever knocked on your door or talked to you, Mr. Brandstetter, about this?
Yes, they have.
And what happened?
Paul has been trespassing on my property many times.
Okay, but then maybe both of you should get
And-
arrested.
and
My question to you is,
nothing has
what
happened
happened with
because
the
I
police and the video? Did they show you the video? Did they tell you to stop
No,
going over there? What happened?
They told me not to talk to him, but I don't talk to him anyways. I never go over there and talk to him. The only thing I've ever done was remove that camera and handed it back to him. And that fence that you saw with the brick wall, that is my wall and my bricks.
No, it's not. Prove it.
Yeah, yes, it is. That's
Prove
on
it.
my property.
Prove it.
That's along
Prove
my
it.
property
Show
line.
me a survey that says that's your property. It's not. At best, it's your easement, which is not your property, which
No,
we know you
you're-
have a
you're-
tendency
you're-
to confuse because you've been confusing it this whole game. My
Okay.
wheel wagons were on there, and it was ever
No.
thus. And this man doesn't have a right to. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. Okay?
Okay.
I'm ordering you to pay Mr. Neum $350 for the security camera and for what I find to be the value of the stone wall caps that he has been able to prove to me. Mr. Neum, listen to me. What you need to do is anytime you see him on camera trespassing onto your property, at that moment, You call the police and tell them he's done it again. And you file a complaint and you go through with it. And then if he does it again, at that moment, you call the police and tell them he's done it again. And you file a complaint and you go through with it. That's what you have to do. Because according to the city and according to the surveys, that is your property, which at best, he has a right of easement, not an ownership interest. Okay? Verdict for the plaintiff, $350.
So the plaintiff gets a judgment for $350 against Mr. Brandsetter, the defendant. Mr. Brandsetter, what do you think about what the judge just told the plaintiff? And what do you think about the ruling?
I think she didn't really listen to me, and the plaintiff's a shyster, and he does this all the time. And I don't talk to him. I've never met or spoke with his sister or brother that he claims. And the fence in that she doesn't understand the layout of the property.
Well, the judge made the decision, and you've got to pay him that money, so you're going to have to do it. How about that? How do you feel about that? You're not thrilled, are you?
Not good, because the camera only cost $35.
Okay, Mr. Neum, let me ask you, how do you feel about the judge's decision and about what she told you ought to do if you see him on your property?
No, he have the right to, go egress and egress, to his house. And I know I have my video camera on. And if anything, I guess detrimental to my family, of course, I will contact the police and file a report.
All right. Congratulations. Good for you. All right, Harvey, this is an interesting case. What do you think?
Doug, I got to tell you, you've heard the old saying, a man's home is his castle. It should be a person's home is his or her castle. But in a situation like this one, it's very common that when you tread onto your neighbor's property, that is sometimes a declaration of war. People are very territorial when it comes to this. And even if you think you have a right to do it, is it really worth it when you know that you're triggering a war with the person next door to you? Nobody wants that. So communication is critical. That if you think there's an easement where you have a right to go on that land, fine. But communicate with the neighbor, make it clear what you're doing, so then when you go on the property, at least there's a history. And frankly, you should also put that in writing.
When Marilyn found out she was pregnant, how did she tell John?
The first time you got pregnant, this is a memorable moment. I'll never forget it, but at the same time, it's bittersweet because in the end, she didn't keep this baby. She lost this baby to miscarriage after couple months, I think, 3 months. But I remember we were in Coconut Grove. We were living together in a house in Coconut Grove, in Florida, and you brought me some knitted booties.
We were married.
We were married.
Okay.
We were married. But you brought me these little knitted booties and you handed them to me.
I wrapped them.
I unwrapped them. I looked at them. I'm like, this is wonderful. Someone's going to have a baby. And I was like, and then you kind of had to explain it to me a little further, right? And you did a little puppet show. No, but you did explain it to me. And I was like, oh my God, it was wonderful. And yeah, that was a special day.